Yo, what's good, Spirit Squad? So we just did a poll on what deck y'all wanted to see played, and well, you couldn't really decide between Pioneer Gruul Vehicles and Legacy Mono Blue Curious Obsession, so we're simply gonna play both. Here, we're going to play some Pioneer Gruul Vehicles, and this is a deck that's been creeping towards the top of the metagame for quite some time now, and the premise behind it is pretty simple. You play some cheap mana elves on turn 1 into things that remove creatures on turn 2 like Bone Crusher Giant or Obliterating Bolt, or if they don't present a creature, you can go ahead and do your own cool thing, like Reckless Stormseeker, which can grant all of your creatures haste, a giant 5/5, or a sweet 3/3 that can draw you cards on turn 2. After that, you've got lots and lots of big things to do that both deal with your opponent's creatures and present sometimes unbeatable boards. The Gruul War can steal creatures, wipe out an entire board, and make your opponent's creatures attack even though they don't want to. That's really sweet for one card. Esika's Chariot is usually one of the best cards in any deck that includes it, and is a very, very welcome inclusion into this mid-range list. And we've got 2 copies of Sky Sovereign, which is just a giant flying battle boat that'll kill really everything it looks at. Pretty good stuff all around. The premise behind this deck is pretty simple, but in execution, we're going to have to figure out quite a bit of combat steps today. Our sideboard is pretty straightforward. We're trying to deal with a lot of threats that otherwise give us problems, while also presenting clocks against the decks that we need to present clocks against. We've got 4 copies of Rending Valley, and this does multiple jobs right now. Of course, it helps against spirits, and we've seen plenty of Rending Valleys on this channel, but in this format right now, they're primarily for the Angels deck. All of the Angels have 4 toughness, like Youthful Valkyrie after 1 pump, Righteous Valkyrie by itself. You have Resplendent Angel has 3 toughness. Rending Valley has a lot of jobs right now for 1 mana. There's also mono white humans in the format, the aforementioned spirits decks, and Greasefang happens to be a white creature, so just in case it comes up, that's something we want to know about. We've got another copy of the Gruul War for a full 4, 2 copies of Hazard the Fervent, and this card's especially good against Rakdos, but it's certainly not bad against other decks like Control that are trying to wear you out. It's kind of mid against blue-white Control, but against blue-black Control, this thing's an all-star. Speaking of Control decks, we've got 2 copies of Chandra Awakened Inferno. This thing can't get countered, and that's exactly where you want to live against the Control decks. So you use your mana elves, you get to 6 mana, you put this unbeatable card on the table, and you generally get to watch your opponent cry about it. Really good times for exactly 1 player. 2 copies of Unlicensers help a lot against Izzet Phoenix, but they're also just great against Greasefang as well, and any miscellaneous graveyard decks that we might see. Gruul Charm, this thing actually has a lot of jobs. Creatures without flying can't block, so if your opponent's on Rakdos and they're trying to come up the board, you can put in one of these maybe, and just get a sweet unblockable board. Or, the part that I hate the most about this card, Gruul Charm deals 3 damage to each creature with flying. Yuck. And the last 2 spots are going to be for Outland Liberator, and this card's especially good against all of those artifact and enchantment decks. So if you're looking at things like Enigmatic Incarnation, any other versions of Fires of Incarnation, or Fires of Invention, whatever the 4-drop's called, there's random artifact decks like Affinity List with Patchwork Automaton, there's Izzet Scissors running around every now and then. There's all kinds of stuff that Outland Liberator helps out with. So we're going to try to go ahead in a 5-match league, same as always. Let's see how we perform today. I'll see y'all in round 1. Today's video brought to you by FusionGamingOnline.com, your one-stop shop for all your gaming needs. All right, welcome to round 1. We are on the draw with a 1-lander. Even though it has 2 elves, I still think this is supposed to go back. Also, I'm just now seeing my opponent's username, the Jiggiest J. That is hilarious, and I love it. We're going to do this and put back 1 of the Mutavaults. Spikefield Cave, okay. Alright, so Heart's Desire gets us a 1/1, and Phoenix it is. Alright. So let's get this attack in here. Alright, cool. So now let's see what happens here. They're just casting an Impulse. Impulse actually makes me think that this is not Phoenix. Impulse makes me think that this is Creativity. So let's see what ends up actually happening here. A Mirror Breaker, that does not influence my thinking one way or the other. Another Llanowar Elves, okay. So here, I do want another green source though. So I'm going to Obliterating Bolt you, Elf here and get the attack. So now I can Sky Sovereign next turn. I can Acroan War something. There's lots of options I have here. I can even just like jam a 5/5 down their throat. So let's see what manner of mean and nasty thing they do here. Secrets of the Key and big score down, okay. And Hall of Storm Giants comes in tapped. Now what happens? Another Fable, okay. You know what? I'm actually fairly happy about that. So here, do I want to Sky Sovereign? Or do I simply want a Bone Crusher Giant? I'm going to Acroan War. So if I get to Acroan War and attack, then I'm going to get to go ahead and make a third mana. The third mana will also let me cast the Bone Crusher Giant, or the Lovestruck Beast. So I'm pretty happy about that. Oh, Jesus, that's not a third mana source. I thought that was an elf. Ooh, discarding 2 lands. Nice. Good job, opponent. And we draw in a Seeker's Chariot. All of their stuff is taunted now. I think I want a Bone Crusher Giant and a Seeker's Chariot. Let's do that. So first I'm going to clear out the blocker. All right, here's an attack. Ooh, what are they doing? Fiery Impulse to Llanowar Elves. You got it. I'm going to Bone Crusher Giant here. So the reason I'm casting Bone Crusher Giant rather than a Lovestruck Beast here is because I only have one available and no way to put a 1/1 into play next turn. So if they don't combo me here, I'd rather evade a removal spell negating my entire ability to attack. Well, I drew a 1/1 anyway, but still. All right, so let's get my attack in here. Fire Prophecy, okay, noted. So now without a 5th mana source, I am going to be really sad about my inability to cast my Sky Sovereign and kill this thing here. But here's a Llanowar Elves, here's a Lovestruck Beast. Make Disappear, you got it. Okay, so now they get to attack here, make 2 tokens for treasures. That's pretty good. So hopefully they just like don't have a creativity, because this is not going to go well if they do, y'all. Okay, cool. So it looks like we did get to fade 1 here, and they have 5 mana, not 6, so they can't animate this and block. Well, that's good. So let's see if they have another copy of Make Disappear. Impulse, okay, so they're looking for 1. Investigate. All right, get out of here, Kikijiki. Oh, what? Oh, thanks, Magic Online. To be fair, I've faded a creativity for some time now, so it's kind of whatever. World Spine Worms, and it goes, we're taking 30. Let's go to the next game. So against them, I don't particularly want these Acroan Wars and other things like that. Instead, I'd rather just get them dead. Right, so this time we get to be on the play, which is super nice. And yeah, this is a hand I'm alright with keeping. So here I get to go ahead and play Heart's Desire turn 1. And from there I can start chaining Werewolf Pack Leaders. And yeah, hopefully good times from there. A nice little aggressive hand. I'm with it. Reckless Stormseeker next turn as well, going very, very fast, hopefully. I do like that idea. Fiery Impulse takes out my 1/1. I'm honestly fine with that. So if they don't really do anything of note here, I can Reckless Stormseeker. Stormseeker gives itself haste, goes up to 3 power, and that'll mean that I get to draw a card as well. So that's pretty exciting. So this could be like a Fire Prophecy or something. Never mind. So now this feels pretty good. If I see a 1/1, I'll be especially glad to do this. Oh, well, this is fine too. I get to go Pack Leader into another copy of the Pack Leader as well, so I get to just like draw a million cards if I want. I don't think this is the turn for that. Here I should probably just clear this out. Since I don't have the mana to use the Outland Liberator, I don't think I'm supposed to play it. I'm just going to go ahead and Pack Leader into just drawing a million cards. So now we're at 3, and I'm pretty sure there's no chance of me dying here. At least I hope. Alright, we in there. So now for game 3, do I change anything on the draw? This looks like a relatively solid negative, so we're just going to keep the same list. This is going away. This is infinitely better. So 3 Lovestruck Beasts is definitely too many, but I don't mind pitching one of these, having an Elvish Mystic and an Outland Liberator. It seems pretty good from there. Alright, so let's see if my friend dies. Pathway doesn't really mean anything here, but unfortunately Spikefield Hazard does. Oh hey, so since I don't really want to play the elf here, I get to just go ahead and do this. If they don't cast a spell this turn, I get to transform and start destroying things. If they do, then it already is kind of what it is. Okay. And a Stomping Ground is actually a pretty helpful draw. And there's definitely no shot of me not attacking, so let's attack into this and see if they want to trade. Okay, so they are going to block and I will let them. So I'm just going to cast my 5/5 here, knowing that I can follow up with 2 1/1s next turn. Fire Prophecy, Secrets of the Key down, okay. Dream Trawler, that's pretty good. Alright, so now I can go ahead and attack, which is nice. Okay, so they only have 1 more card in hand, soon to be 2. I take 5, go to 13, they gain 5, go up to 20. Reflection, getting another Dream Trawler is pretty terrifying though. Lair of the Hydra doesn't really do anything for me here. but attacking with a couple of Mutavaults does. So let's just threaten the crap out of their life total real quick. Here's a big attack. Let's see what they choose to do about it. I am honestly kind of terrified of them doubling up on the Dream Trawlers here, but they're going to go to 6. I'm going to cast a Heart's Desire, and they gain, what, 10? What's this? Secrets of the Key, okay. So what happens here? They tap, they make another Dream Trawler, then they go to their draw step. These go up to 4. They attack, they go up to 6. That's only 12. I'm at 13. Oh no, clue tokens. Oh no, that's 14. I'm dead. Oh, alright. That sucks, but there was never anything I could do about it anyway. Well, that's a sweet pivot. GG, opponent. Alright, Jiggiest J, you are in fact the jiggiest. Good games. Alright, on to play against Kenko. Oh, they know my name. Hey, Andre. And this hand is pretty acceptable, so in there against something Giganta flavored. Oh, it's somebody I know. Nice. Alright, so here I'm going to just go ahead, stomping ground here, and show Ken and Elf. Let's see what happens to it. Do we get to untap with our friend? There's a Temple Garden. Are we doing the angel thing? I think we're doing the angel thing, yeah. Not a big fan of watching people do the angel thing. Actually, I think I want a Stormseeker first. So now I can go ahead and just, like, play the Elf next turn in a hasty 5/5. That seems like a pretty sweet plan. So here, I'm a little worried about just, like, a Bishop of Wings holding down the fort for a while. Paradise Druid. Yo. Are we out here doing, Aura's things? If we're out here doing Aura's things, I'm gonna have a hilarious time laughing at this. This is gonna be great if it's Aura's. Alright, so we get to go ahead and move to combat here. And you give the pack leader haste, and now I'm attacking for a total of 6, so give me a card. Don't really want a stomping ground. But a cool thing I get to do against Auras, if that is what he's playing, is that Besager's going to be able to take something out, which is nice, and potentially deny something devastating like Lifelink. Not a big fan of that being an option, but I'm still making a pretty hefty assumption. Oh, well, unfortunately my assumption is correct, so if this is just like Ethereal, that's actually fine. So now I get to take 5 here, and that's kind of whatever. I go to 13. Now I get to untap, play Lovestruck Beast. I have a 5th land in hand already, so I'm going to get to give it haste, let him declare blow. Oh my god, that might even be better. No, he's at 10. Let's just get rid of him. 1, 2, 3. Now I want to give you haste, attack for a bunch, and when block is... You don't get first strike, do you? No. 1, 2, 3, and a Bone Crusher Giant. That's actually pretty good for later, too. Okay, so now the only thing that really blows me out here is the potential for a Karametra's Blessing, because he's going to get a land, but I'm still going to use my opportunity here to blow up the Ethereal Armor. So if there's a Karametra's Blessing, I can totally get blown out here. But a tapped land says that's not what's happening, so get dunked. Alright, and there's the concession. So, against this deck, what we want to see here is definitely the Outland Liberators. I would love to be able to disenchant some stuff. Gruul Charm denying their blockers is also pretty decent, but also there's a Griff's Boon, which can give things flying, and I have the potential to wipe them out without actually having to target anything. So that's a pretty good option if it comes up. Obliterating Bolt being a targeted removal. Oh, actually, you're a lot worse than a Crone War. Or a lot better than a Crone War. But I also don't want all of these, so let's just do this. Ew. Well, whatever happens, I am certainly not playing Magic with that hand. This is better. So here I'm going to ship the Mutavault. Yeah, I've got other plans for this hand, and I really want them to Griffspoon so that I can blow them out with Gruul Charm. Although, truth be told, I won't be exactly sad if I can use the no block mode and make a Seeker's Chariot look really good. But let's be real. If we're doing silly-ass content things already, I really want the maximum blowout. And the Stormseeker on turn 2 is really just kind of icing on the cake. So as long as we don't just, like, die here, which is a real possibility, then I'll be glad to do aggressive things with the Seeker's Chariot next turn after. What? That's green. Am I walking into a potential Hamio's safekeeping turn? Oh, crap. Okay, that's fine. I will very happily take that trade every single day of the week I'm allowed to. To be honest, I don't know why I was allowed to make that trade. What's this, a Rancor? Basically Rancor. No size. Dang, not Griffspoon. Okay, so here I just take... It has Vigilance, so I just take my 5 here, cry about it, my medicine has been taken, and a Stomping Ground is actually not a bad draw. So I already don't plan on... Wait, this doesn't have first strike. I'm just going to play my Chariot. Produce a couple of blockers, make them do something about that. And by something, I'm really just, like I said, hoping for a Griffspoon to be the something. We're attacking again. Okay, I'm going to walk into a Karametra's Blessing. If you got it, I'm just going to eat it. It is what it is. It's got to get it out of your hand one way or the other. I Ganjo. That's fine. So I take 5, go to 8, cry about that. And I get to untap here into a Stormseeker. It's actually pretty good for me. So let's just do that. So I'm going to do this. And we're going to crew like this. Might as well give the extra power here. I'm not doing anything else with the Stormseeker trigger. Here's an attack. Here's a kitty cat. Meow, 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 meow. Okay, let's see what else we can walk into here. I will be blocking with the other cat. And what's the combat trick here? Are we another Iganjo? Are we a Karametra's Blessing? We're a nothing? And I'm just... What? What is happening here? Why was I allowed to block? I have a big confuse. Our Karplusan Forest is not a particularly exciting draw, but it is one that I will take with a 1-1 being on their side of the table here. So I'm going to crew here, 2 and 4, and I'm going to do it like this because I don't care if they block the cat or the elf, but I feel like I will probably care a lot if they block one of the Stormseekers. And what's this, a Boseiju? That smells like a Boseiju. Diversify your bonds. And here comes the Boseiju. There it is. Okay. Yeah, you got it. So, yes, I would like to do this. I'll put a Stomping Ground in tapped. Okay, so I'm going to leave you back as a blocker. I don't really feel like walking into a Ethereal Armor draw. And the Gruul Charm will actually be able to do the no blocking mode if I make it to next turn as well. So if they give it flying, I can kill it with Gruul Charm. If they don't kill it with flying, I can negate their ability to block and just attack. So... options are pretty sweet, provided I survive. This is probably the Sentinel's Eyes out of the graveyard. It is. Sentinel's Eyes by itself is fine, as long as it's by itself. What can I walk in? Oh, oops. I'm not on Declare blockers yet. I don't know what I'm playing around currently, but I'm going to play around it. Let's just not. Whatever the bad thing is, I feel like I want no parts. And that smells like a Paradise Druid coming? Vanguard. Yeah, that's fine. Dick. So now we get to untap, negate their ability to block, and... make one of the homies real sad. Got him. Nice. Just got a fuck is this card in the chat. Let's mess with him. Alright. GG's to the homie. Let's get ready to move to round 3. Welcome to round 3, y'all. We are on the draw against Yorion. So, likely control, and this hand is going back. This is not great. This is a lot better. So... double Love Struck Beast is kind of mid, and the 4 lands are kind of mid, but I get to turn 1 Heart's Desire, turn 2 Heart's Desire, turn 3 Reckless Stormseeker, and assuming 0 other help, that's not the worst. Temple Garden. I am no longer suspecting blue-white control. So there's our lovely 1-1, and let's see what happens from here. Still nothing. Double Temple Garden. What the hell plays double Temple Garden? Anyway. Let's get an attack in. In main phase 2, I'm just going to jam my Werewolf Pack Leader here. And now if they decide to Portable Hole this, then I have my Boseiju already. Mana Confluence into a Fable. Okay. Fable's the only normal part of this. Oh, hey, hey, hey. Look at us go, look at us go, look at us go. All right. So you officially piss off. And I'm not going to play the Boseiju for a land. I'm going to play this, even though I know I could cast Heart's Desire off of Boseiju. I feel like Boseiju as a card is going to be important. Is this a Binding the Old Gods? Oh, Incarnation. Okay. I saw the black-green first. I'm like, what could you possibly be casting here? So that gets a 4-drop and a Shieldred. That's obviously pretty annoying, but the Obliterating Bolt in hand certainly helps things. So let's tempt them into blocking, I guess. And I'm going to attack with both. Attacking with this tells them I have Bone Crusher Giant. Attacking with this tells them that I might just be trying to sneak a damage in. And boop. Here's a Heart's Desire. I think I hold off on the land for one more turn. 5 is an Elder Gargs. That's pretty obnoxious. Elder Gargs being a 6/6 is especially good. Mutavault is medium helpful. So what can I do here? I can... Love Struck Beast cast. Where can we take this? I can double block the Elder Gargs with Love Struck Beast and the human token. untap Stormseeker. Stormseeker plus Werewolf pack leader can attack, and the only real upside here is that they're at 9. So if they just play like another incarnation and just go and get Tulsimir, then I'm pretty sure we're just dead on the spot. There is another incarnation. Do we attack with the Gargs? No, you do not, which means they're getting Tulsimir. Cavalier of Dawn. And Karuga to draw? Okay. Is that a draw we can get out of? So what do I do here? We can pack leader plus Lovestruck Beast. And then next turn, I can fire in with Stormseeker in a whole lot of everything and give ourselves a chance to win. That's not the worst option, but this is still pretty rough. Like, holding Stormseeker back for a surprise alpha attack is at least something viable. They're tapping the Confluence. Is this, what, Bring? No. Oh, Fable. Okay. Stomp. Is a Stomp useful? So, what happens here? I can Stormseeker, give it Self-Haste, attack with all. They block 5, 3, 3, 3, and take a total of 4. Not good enough. Which means I'm just going to cast this. So I can clear out the Shaman token, and what's this? It's a third incarnation. We are red, green, green, green. Fires of Invention, I can't do anything about that. But they only get to play one more spell, which I guess is nice. There's a third incarnation, damn it. That also means what? They could get rid of Fable, turn it into a 4-drop. I don't know what 4-drop I would care about, I think. I don't. Let's just see what they get. I will see what they get before deciding whether to cast my Stomp at the creature or their face. Kenrith. And they have 3 mana, so they can get 5 life. Okay. I guess I'll get rid of the blocker. Seeker's Chariot. That's not a bad draw. It is for this turn. So again, what happens here? I Stormseeker, fire up Mutavault, and Stormseeker gives its health haste. They have 4 blockers and are effectively at 11 life. So they can block 5, 4, 3, 3, take 3, 3, 1. That's 7. So not quite 11. Letting them untap with this Kenrith is not going to be good times, though. I also need to account for the fact that this gains 3 life. Leyline Binding. Okay, that's actually fine. They can just get rid of the... Oh, they're getting rid of a token. That's fine, too. I actually thought they were going to get rid of the Chariot, but I'm honestly okay with either option there. So the Incarnation can get Oma or a Titan of Industry? Ugh. I think my window to win this game is past some time ago. Oh, Jesus. Good night. All right. Dragon Lord Atarka. Okay, understood. Good night. So we want the Liberators, I want Azarets, and I don't necessarily mind the Chandras. Cards I don't particularly want include Obliterating Bolt and the Akroan War. I mean, actually no, I do want the Akroan War. That's cap. Sky Sovereign's kind of mid, and I don't think I need all 4 Bone Crushers. Alright, so we'll be on the play here. Yeah, alright, I'm certainly in for this. So I get to be on the play with Mystic into Pack Leaders, plural. That feels good. So they took a mill to 6, and since we are down a game, I don't really feel bad about that. Sacred Foundry untapped. Are we a portable hole? Oh, no, the other one, Chained to the Rocks. That's fine. So now we get to Werewolf Pack Leader A, and since we drew a Stormseeker, this can actually be our next turn's play. So assuming I get to untap with the Pack Leader, Stormseeker can give it self-haste, and then I get to attack for 6 total. But a Trial of Ambition is going to stop, well, my ambition. Lovestruck Beast, don't really want that yet. I will want it, just not yet. So let's take them down to 13. Hopefully there's not, like, an Oath of Kaya. Are you a Skyclave, then? Oh, Raiden, that's fine. Ah, not Snow. Mwahaha. Alright, so Pack Leader, you can give Pack Leader haste. I get to attack, we draw a card. It's a Liberator, that's actively pretty decent. It's fine, I don't mind bouncing off. And now let's hope for something that is not named a board wipe. So no Brotherhood's End, no Supreme Verdict, no, well, any of that. Whatever version of that they're playing this week, I want none of them. Tree of Triumph tapped, okay. And they're just buying Yorion, sick. That is probably a handshake. So I take 2, this gets to flip. And I am going to cast 2 spells here, but it's going to be for the sake of killing them, so I don't really mind. And they're off it. Heck yeah. Game 3, do I change anything? Pretty sure the answer is no. Gruul Charm on the draw can deny their ability to block again, which is at least somewhat relevant. They don't have flyers other than Raiden, so I'm not going to go like hard body on the charms or anything like that. Yeah, alright, let's just run this back. Yeah. I'm in for this. So yeah, like Elf on turn 1, a choice between Lovestruck Beast and Pack Leader on 2, and then the faster we get our hand empty, the better this Hazoret looks. I'm super in for that. Especially if they come at me with like an Elder Gargs and I can Acroan War it. Oh, need that in my life. Are we another trial? We are in fact another trial. That's fine. Alright, good night, sweet prince. Another trial, another creature down. So now, what am I going to do about the Yorion they can buy and use with that? Let's see. Here's a 5/5. Are we a Chain to the Rocks? We are in fact a Chain to the Rocks, okay. And what's this? Nylea's Presence, you got it. So they have lots and lots of colors. That also means I need to be on the lookout for like Leyline Binding. Okay, so now we're just going to put 2 more creatures on the board, and hopefully I actually get to attack with something, because they're still at 20, and this is getting a little precarious, y'all. Beam Fence. Tapped. That means we're buying Yorion, probably? Skyclave. Okay, so that can get rid of my Lovestruck Beast. That's actually a pretty good draw. Alright. So now we are... I can attack with Hazoret next turn if I end up drawing a land or a 1-drop, since I can just, like, get the card out of my hand and get the attack in. I am still fairly sad about anything that exiles that, though. Deputy Detention on my cats. Come on. Let me live. And there's the 1-drop. Okay. So here I'm going to Hazoret. But I am still going to tap this and then make another human token out of it, too. I do want what little value I can get out of it. So if they double block, that doesn't do anything. Okay. No block, period. Noted. So I guess almost best case here is that they try to come at me with an Elder Gargs, but realistically... Oh, Fable. Is that bad for me? I can just take the token, make 2 tokens with a Zeeka's Chariot? That's not that bad for me. Bitter Reunion's gonna be really good for them, though. Getting rid of Raydan. That makes sense. She didn't really do anything last game. Alright. So I will take this, and I'm gonna crew with the one I just took, and the 2 humans. No, human and an elf. I like those better. So now I get to attack with these 2. I will be making another Goblin Shaman. Alright. So now that I've got elf mana sources, things to do, I can also start attacking with things like Mutavaults too. The other thing that I don't mind happening here is if they decide to like Leyline Binding either Hazoret or the Chariot. Dumping 2 lands. Nice. Nice. I am at least kind of jealous at that kind of utility because I currently don't have that agency. Another Fable. That's another good draw for sure. So now what do I want to... Oh, and there's the Leyline Binding. Okay, so this is probably getting rid of Hazoret, but it could get rid of Chariot. It is, in fact, getting rid of Hazoret. Okay. And they don't have the mana to buy Yorion, which is actively great for me. Sekenzin? Okay. And their friends are all taunted. So here, I think I'm just going to go ahead and activate Mutavaults and then just, like, try to attack for 100. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make another Goblin Shaman, attack for a bunch here, see where the blocks really go, and know that my opponent, luckily, is pretty empty-handed, which is nice. And I'm not casting anything here. We're just going to let this rock. So, depending on their draw, unless their draw is something absolutely wild, I get to have options. I have the option of casting a Chariot if they get rid of the one I currently have, and using the cat tokens to do something there. Skyclave and Ketria down. Oh no, just Ketria down. Okay, and they only have 7 mana, which means they can't buy Yorion and use it, which means we've, looks like we've won this match, y'all. Because they have 1 blocker and I have 400 million attackers, so GG's to our opponent. Let's move on to round 4. Welcome to round 3, y'all. We are on the draw, but our hand is pretty good. I've got turn 2 Stormseeker, Bone Crusher Giant, Lovestruck Beast, and a pair of Mana Elves, so even though this is 2 lands, this is still a pretty exciting 2-land hand. A 3rd land would just be an absolute chef's kiss. Steam Vents tapped with Yorion. Okay, so that could just be like your 1 Steam Vents in your Incarnation deck, is what I'm thinking is happening here. Be determined. This could also just be an 80-card creativity deck. Rootbound Crag, so I'm no longer thinking that. Nylea's Presence. Okay, so here, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and play my friend Stormseeker here. Give it self-haste, and then work on doing clock things from there. Boop. Hallowed Fountain. Okay, so we're all over the place. This is even coming in untapped, so now I really don't know what they're going to try to do here. Chain to the Rocks? Yes, Chain to the Rocks, okay. So, friend Stormseeker goes... The elf? Okay, this has got to be like a Trial of Ambition then. It is, okay, that makes more sense. Go on, get... So here I have options. I can Elf Heart's Desire, I can Love Struck Beast with the intent to cast multiple things next turn. Let's do that. I've got 3 options for 1 power creatures here, so this, in theory, should be able to attack next turn, but on the draw, this one's going to be not much fun without a Source of Haste. I really want that Stormseeker back. Oh, come on. You're an 80-card deck. Go away. All right. So here I can go ahead and Elf Love Struck, Elf Stomp. I like Elf Stomp. One saving grace from this hand is that they're missing land drops, so that at least is nice-ish. That could change with this Bitter Reunion. This card is super OD. Archon of Emeria is not bad. Steam Vents tapped. Okay. So here I'm going to get to stomp their face end of turn and untap, and 6 mana lets me cast both of these creatures too. So let's see if I'm allowed. I am not allowed. That's actually fine by me. It gives me something to do with a land if I draw one. And I also get to up here, so we're still using our mana pretty effectively, and won't lie and say that doesn't make me happy. So I get to put in all of the threats, and now they're stuck looking at this again. One really sad downside here is if they have a land and are just playing Yorion in their deck instead of just having only Yorion here, then they can just like Yorion, get these 2, and then immediately make me sacrifice the elf into Love Struck Beast. Like, that would be pretty sad times. Oath of Kaya on Bone Crusher Giant would also kind of suck. So, opponent, if you could not do any of those things, that'd be great. Okay, so they're buying Yorion here. And assuming this 2 mana doesn't kill any of these creatures, I actually do have quite a few live outs to being lethal. Like a Stormseeker probably does it, right? 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah. A Stormseeker is exactly lethal. What else do I have access to? Bone Crusher Giant Stomp is pretty close. All right, well, let's attack. Do not kill this. Stop looking at it. Oh, fine. All right, so they're going to get to kill my elf, which is very sad. Oh, they're killing my Love Struck Beast. Oh, that's actually fine-ish, as long as they don't, like, have something else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. So I can attack with both here. They go down to 8, and I still got to worry about how in the world I'm ever going to get over that, Yorion when it comes down, because it's going to come down and it's going to get to replay both of these Trials of Ambition, and if they want, they can rinse and reuse Chain to the Rock as well. So I got a lot of work here. Yep. So Yorion comes in, flashes out a bunch of stuff. I get to be sad about it. They can also have the route of getting rid of these Leyline Binding, a 1/1, and letting me keep Love Struck Beast, and getting rid of Bone Crusher Giant was an option. But it looks like that's not what they're going to do. They're just going to make me sack 2 creatures, and they're going to draw a card with Nylea Presence. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, 4 cards, because Bitter Reunion. Okay, let's see what we can draw. That is only relatively unhelpful. So I do have the option of Stormseeker, give Bone Crusher Giant extra power, and attack and make Yorion block. It's day, it's not night, so I don't get to, like, do the whole thing. I also had the option of Stormseekering itself, attacking with both, blocking 4, making them take 3, go to 3. And does that open me up to more draws? I think the answer might actually be yes. So I don't get the Yorion off the table with this, but them being at 3 might be a little better for future top decks. And they are going to get rid of the Bone Crusher Giant, which means A, they're playing around me having another Bone Crusher Giant coming off the top for stomp purposes, and they probably have some form of removal for my Stormseeker. Incarnation. Raggy, send help. So what are they going to do here? They can get rid of Leyline Binding and get something like a Coma or a Titan of Industry to gain 5. They can get rid of you to get something that costs 3 and gains life. And it looks like we're going to see a Titan of Industry, I think. Crap. Okay. Yep, sad times. So they're going to go up to 8. I'll give myself a draw step, but I really don't think we have an out. That's not an out. All right. Yeah, these Incarnation decks feel borderline impossible. I want all of the haste things. I want the Chandras. And Obliterating Bolt is pretty terrible. Rule Charm negating blocks is actually kind of good against this deck. Let's see. I'm going to take out one of these Acroan Wars for one more unblockable turn. And I don't think I want to put Hazaret in. No, that's probably better than the Acroan Wars. So let's be on the play. Yeah, like being on the draw against this deck feels super impossible. 5 lands, even though the hand is mostly acceptable otherwise, can't really do that. This is a lot better. So let's get rid of the Carplusion Force here, and because we're on the play, This gives us the ability to at least draw into something useful here. So I'm going to play the forest first, and then decide on turn 2 if I want to play the Crag Crown Pathway on red, or if I draw a Werewolf Pack Leader maybe on green. So let's see what happens here. Opponent mold all the way down to 4, which is pretty good for me, obviously. Don't really feel bad I'm down a game. Okay, so we have Jundland, and this means I'm actually just going to do this first. So I don't mind going ahead and stomping on the end of their turn, and then untapping into the Stormseeker. So what that does is it allows me to play the Chariot on 4 and give it haste since I already have the 4 lands guaranteed. What is this? Oh, sure. So Nylea's Presence is a thing. They go down to 16, soon to be 13. Hazoret will be pretty good later. Now you get to give yourself haste and swing. So now they're at 13, and they have a lot of things they can do when they untap. They can Trial of Ambition with the mana they have. Well, actually, they just have all the colors anyway, never mind. So they can Trial of Ambition and get rid of my source of haste. They can chain, that works. I was gonna say they could chain to the rocks. They could really do almost anything as far as removal goes. They even had the option of whatever the 6th one's called, Leyline Binding. So that was also an available option. So I get to do this here, and next turn, whether I draw a land or not, Hazoret is more than likely going to be live, which is also nice. Okay, we've got all the colors. Are we getting Incarnation in play? We are. Okay, so the Incarnation can do what? They can sack 1 to get 2. They're sacking 2 to get 3. What does 3 do? Is it Renegade Rallier? To get back this Nylea's Presence, maybe? Knight of Autumn to get rid of my Chariot. That's obnoxious. Okay, you got it. Another Stormseeker is actually pretty good. So I don't have the mana to use my Hazoret just yet, but I can do this, and I think I'm going to Stormseeker give itself haste. Okay, let's do that. So now I can attack with my 2... Actually, yeah, I can just attack with everybody. They can't really block Stormseeker profitably. They can block a cat, and that's fine. They take 5, go to 8. And if they wipe my board next turn, that's not... What? That means they have to have a Yorion in hand, right? Like, there's no way they drew anything else if they're not like blocking a cat here. They cycle a Triome? Why didn't you block if your hand was that hopeless? Whatever, not my problem. Let's go to game 3. This hand's acceptable. So we got a turn 1 Elf, turn 2 Stormseeker, and that's easily our best start. And then I've got some pretty decent late game stuff going on too. If I manage to draw a land and my Elf is actually alive, I get to a Seeker's Chariot. So this isn't necessarily the best hand until I see another land or two, but it's certainly acceptable. Also, I can't wait until you guys can be Copperline Gorges. Honestly, I think the deck will probably still play this, but if I'm ever to play this again, Copperline Gorge will be a really welcome addition to this deck. So the Gruul Charm will be pretty nice for much, much later. Assuming they get some kind of like cool creature draw, then we'll be able to make all of the creatures unable to block for like a big Alpha Strike, so that's something to look forward to later if that ends up happening. But first, let's see if our Elf actually survives. Ooh, it does. Nice. All right, so I'm going to play the Stomping Ground. Life total is mostly irrelevant. Mostly. So you can give yourself haste. Let's smack you down to 17 real quick and see what it is they're cooking. Blood Fountain down to 15. And they're casting a Fable. You got it. Crag Crown Pathway means I can Seeker's Chariot, and I'm going to get to give it haste. So yeah, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Meow. Meow. Lots of cats. You give you haste. Beep, beep. Yeah, unfortunately, it's a creature token you control. Otherwise, I totally would have made a Goblin Shaman. But here, they've got a lot of work to do. Like, they can just go ahead and play something like a... What am I thinking? They can play something like Wrath of God effect. But even if they get to do that, I can still just, like, untap, play Hazoret, use Hazoret to crew the Chariot, and kind of keep attacking from there, so I still have something resembling a clock. That's an option. If I draw a couple running lands, Chandra's going to be on, which is nice, because I already have 4 of the 6 required to play her, assuming this dies. So there's a lot of things to do here, and if they produce a board that's like 2 or more blockers, I'm still fairly happy to have this Gruul Charm to deny the blocking line. What do you do? 3 mana, 2/1 Menace, and Regrowth, but if it would die, exile it. And it's an enchantment creature. Okay, cool. This card's kind of sweet. Okay, looks like they're... I can't say they're stuck on land because they just discarded a Drowned Catacomb, so what's happening here? Okay, are we a Deafening Clarion or Brotherhood's End? And if you're a Brotherhood's End, you actually have a real choice to make. Leyline Binding on my cat card? That's fine. Yeah, that's kind of whatever. What are we looking at here? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think what I do here is actually just attack for what's here, holding up the ability to play Sekenzen. Right, let's think about that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is not 13. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna attack with everything I see. And then give myself the ability to Sekenzen and untap and then attack for 2 more. And that makes them deal with the board twice. So I do currently have too many cards in my hand to make good use of Hazoret, otherwise they'd just already be dead. But I think this is still at least an acceptable line, provided they're, you know, since they're at 3. Yeah, 3-1. Alright, let's move on to the last round, y'all. GG's opponent. Last round? Jesus Christ, my opponent's name is Big Fat Hillbilly. Wow, man, you pay $10 to register that username? But I'm on the draw here. They multi 6. Hand is not bad, right? Like, I got Double Elf, Bone Crusher Giant, Obliterating Bolt, and it's not necessarily the worst against a hand that might just, like, be Rakdos here. So what do I want to do here? I can play an Elf, and Castle Lockpoint tells us that it might just be Rakdos, so I actually want to tie up their mana, and that means that they have to choose here between, if they have it, developing a Blood Tithe Harvester, Basic Swamp. Nope, crap, we're playing against that mono, are we playing against Mono Black Devotion? I think we're playing against Mono Black Devotion, y'all. So instead then, I'm going to play an Elf and play a Pack Leader, and if they have a removal spell like a Heartless Act, Infernal Grasp, Power Word Kill, whatever they have, they can use it on the Pack Leader. I can untap and start being really productive with my spells here. I suspect it's not a Fatal Push, otherwise my Elf just like would have died. Oh, they have a nothing. I like that answer. Don't be a Path of Peril. What is happening right now? There's no damnation in this format. So I think what I'm supposed to do here is literally just like develop a Heart's Desire and it's like play a Lovestruck Beast. I just have no idea what my opponent's actual plan might be or resemble here. Okay, finally removal spell. Are we a Murderous Rider? We are in fact a Murderous Rider. Okay, that's fine. So you take your 1, you have a Lifelinker ready for next turn, and I'm just gonna play my Lovestruck Beast here, and this way if they have a something other than like this, then I probably don't care that much. Graveyard Trespasser. That's obnoxious, but ultimately fine. I do have a forest in my hand that I don't mind discarding to the oh, that's good. Yeah, I have a forest in hand that I just like don't mind discarding to the Bone Crusher Giant. So what I'm gonna do here is make this their problem and attack. So if they block one of the ones here, I can just like follow up with Bone Crusher Giant, discarding the forest, and that doesn't even make me sad. That is completely fine by me. So now they have Fatal Push after this dies to get rid of Lovestruck Beast, which is fine. And yeah, what, opponent? I think I'm just gonna say cast my other 5/5 and make this their problem. So how do I get punished? They're playing Graveyard Trespasser, so I don't suspect that they're playing Shadow's Verdict. So I think this is probably pretty safe. So I'm just going to develop a giant board and make this their... Yeah, this is really just like your problem. They did in fact have the post-combat Fatal Push. We did talk about that. So with 2 cards in hand and a Murderous Rider on the board, Sign in Blood, target yourself, and another Graveyard Trespasser, that's fine. Eating my Lovestruck Beast, whatever, you got it, opponent. Llanowar Elves is a completely fine discard. So now I'm going to do the same thing. Attack again. If they block Lovestruck Beast to save some life total, so be it. If they block anything else, I have Bone Crusher Giant and don't care about discarding this elf. Okay, so they decided to kill an elf rather than kill a human token, which is definitely right from them. So let's stomp here. Ward, drop this Llanowar Elf. Beep. Okay, Trespasser, kindly get the fuck out my face. And here, if they decide to just like follow up with almost nothing but this Murderous Rider, I'm still holding on to this Obliterating Bolt, so we can get rid of that and be pretty happy about it. A third Trespasser. Nice, nice, nice. So they're going to go up to 7 here, and almost no matter what I draw, it's probably a fine discard for this Obliterating Bolt. Seized. I retract my statement. But they're going to 5, so, you know? Nice. Game 2. Mono Black. What do I want to do here? I want... actually all of this stuff, right? Because they're just going to side in like 1,000,000 points of removal and try to make the game go really long. I think I like that. Even though the Obliterating Bolts were fine there, actually no, Bone Crusher Giant. I think Bone Crusher Giant's the one that needs to leave, because everything that they would normally try to gum up the ground with is a 2/3, so Stomp on its own doesn't actually have much text. I just happen to get away with 1. So what do they play? They play Graveyard Trespassers a 3/3, Murderous Riders a 3/3, Gifted Aetherborn is a 3/3 or 2/3. So yeah, I don't think Bone Crusher Giant just like has a lot of text here. And the other card I'm gonna get rid of here. I don't think I need two of these Chandras. I don't actually want the game to get to the point where we are playing Chandras. She just is decent insurance that also happens to have a relevant -3 against a lot of what they're doing. I don't think I want to aim to play her, if that makes sense. Bye. Okay, that's better. So yeah, keeping a one-lander against the deck with Thoughtseize and Fatal Push is basically asking to get bodied. So let's go ahead and do this. I can also just shake the basic forest, right? Actually, yeah, the basic forest is a lot better to get rid of. So we saw Field of Ruin, so I do want to keep basics in my deck if possible, but also, like, I just don't need the help producing green, but I might need the help producing red because we have double red cards. And now I'm super glad we didn't keep that last hand, right? Because if we kept the one-lander they thought seized away the Llanowar Elf, we were just never playing Magic. So they can get rid of Lovestruck Beast and deny me my 1/1. They can get rid of Stormseeker and play for a later game. They can also play for a Crowan War and try to get away with not playing creatures as long as possible. But it looks like they're going to deny me my 1/1 and 5/5. You got it. I love you too, Magic. And there's the Gifted Aetherborn that we talked about. Okay. So here, what I can do is play my Reckless Stormseeker and not attack with it with the intent to a Crowan War next turn. Let's do that. So what does this do for me? If I attack, obviously they block and we trade and I don't have haste anymore. Nah, F that. If they have another Thoughtseize for my Carpolution Forest, I'm sorry, for my a Crowan War, that's fine, because I can Carpolution Forest, I can Heart's Desire plus Lovestruck Beast. They're gonna attack. Okay, you got it. So we reverse life totals, 20 to 18, but now it's their favor. Let's see what, if anything, they have for follow-up. 3 mana, Swift End on the Stormseeker, you got it. So here I'm going to just a gimme, yoink. And I am a little sad that they got rid of the Reckless Stormseeker since I drew a pack leader. I would have really loved to be able to give that haste and draw a card. But here, if they're... Oh, they're just going to play another Aetherborn. You got it. So now they're taunted. They must attack. So here, do I just develop pack leader and Llanowar Elf and Heart's Desire? I can't do all of that. I only have 3 green sources. Yeah, I think I need to just go ahead and get my attack in while it getting's good. So if they decide to block, then whatever. I already got rid of 2 of their cards for my 1. If they don't block, then they're still taunted, and it's going to deal 2 to itself next turn, but it's got Death Touch, so it's going to kill itself anyway, even though it's only a 2/3. So all's not completely lost there. So I am going to develop my friend Pack Leader here. Next up, Llanowar Elf. And I definitely do not intend to block with anything next turn. So how do I overcome all of these big-ass life linkers is really going to be my next big problem here. Because they're going to get their Aetherborn back. You got to attack, bruh. They can develop Murderous Rider, which does not kill itself. Oh, is that a Shieldred? Alright, that sucks. Okay. So here... I think I'm just making a 5/5. Don't really want to be taking damage for things. So if they attack with Gifted Aetherborn, I think I just block with the Pack Leader. If they attack with Shieldred, I will very happily trade it for Lovestruck Beast, so there's basically no way that's happening. So what I actually think my opponent does here is just like plays Murderous Rider and doesn't bother with an attack. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the line here. I can draw another Crowan War to steal the Shieldred, and that allows me to attack with Lovestruck Beast and Werewolf Pack Leader to draw a card. Extinction Event, odd. That sucks a lot. So we trade here, and I'm basically crossing my fingers for another Crowan War. That is not an Crowan War. Let's just go to game 3. I'm off it. So, does my plan change? I think I want you back on the play. I'm a lot more likely to actually be able to cast it. What do I want to take out, though? I think I want to take out one of the Crowan Wars in its place. Yeah. On the play, I think my Obliterating Bolts are a lot more likely to be able to kind of hold down the fort. This is fine. So I've got the potential for turn 2 Stormseeker, provided I don't get Thoughtseized out of the water here. And that's certainly not bad. And then from there, I can work on developing more elves and things. And then Sky Sovereign can get rid of really big problems like Graveyard Trespassers and all of their lifelinkers. So, got some faith in this. Are we a Fatal Push or are we a Thoughtseize? We are a Fatal Push, okay. So that's fine, I can develop double elf here. I'm gonna make you green because I now have double red anyway, so let's do that. Another one. So the name of the game there is a nice Fatal Push go. Unfortunately here, Gifted Aetherborn does hold on to fort for a turn, so if that's what they have, I just kind of hold that. Oh, they're just signing in blood. Okay, you got it. Isika's Chariot. I think I want that more than I want the other thing here. So, boop, 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 boop. So this way, if they Extinction Event odd doesn't like just ruin my day. And if they follow up with some kind of 3-drop, like, I don't know, a Graveyard Trespasser, then the Sky Sovereign's gonna feel pretty damn it. Alright, remember we talked about Path of Peril earlier too. Now I feel a little bad about that. So now what? I can Stormseeker now, give it self-haste since I can't crew the Chariot, and then next turn, assuming this actually survives somehow, I can Pack Leader, give Pack Leader haste, draw a card. That doesn't feel too bad. Field of Ruin. So now I just want to like draw a couple of lands and get to this point. But I won't lie and say that this didn't absolutely suck. Okay, so I get to go ahead and take my turn now. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Pack Leader as promised. And let's see if I'm allowed to give it haste. I'm going to try it. Am I allowed to attack? I am allowed to attack. Sick. Draw a card. I did not expect to get to draw a card. Now you're doing a removal spell? There's no way that was right. Field of Ruin. That's probably even less right, but I guess they just must have had absolutely nothing. Doing that allows them to Fatal Push to Stormseeker, though. So, like, that's a thing. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm still gonna get to draw my card, though. So here, what do I want to do? I can just cast the Lovestruck Beast, but I don't have a 1/1 to go with it. I can crew the Chariot with the Lovestruck Beast. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm forfeiting the 1/1 that allows the Lovestruck Beast to attack, but they don't know that I don't have a 1/1 in hand anyway. So that might actually make them reserve a removal spell for a 1/1 rather than for this Werewolf Pack Leader, which is, I guess, kind of like what I really want here. Oh, dang it. Now I need a land. So in order to actually get rid of this Graveyard Trespasser with the Sky Sovereign, oh, never mind. I actually want to get rid of the Gaith of Reborn more anyway. So now let's get a land. Thank you. And Mutavault is actively a pretty great draw too. So let's get rid of the Death Touch creature. And I'm going to crew that with this. Now I'm going to get to attack and draw another card. They can trade with the Werewolf Pack Leader, but like they're at 11, so I really don't care about that. I have a token? I don't have a token. I was like, what is the Seeker's Chariot trying to copy? Oh, never mind. I now have a 1/1 for my Lovestruck Beast. Sick. So are we trading and going to 7? We are in fact trading and going to 7. You got it. So yeah, the Land of Were Elves is actually kind of huge because it does two things for us. First, it turns on the Lovestruck Beast, obviously. But the second thing it does is it lets me pair with Mutavault to crew the Sky Sovereign too. Sign and Blood Self go to 5 with a Sky Sovereign on the table. That's brave. What can they play here? They can't play Shieldred. That does not get them out of this because the Sky Sovereign flies. They can kill my Lovestruck Beast in an attempt to hold back. Field of Ruin my Mutavault. I do think I agree with that play. That lets them Fatal Push the Lovestruck Beast, and that is the line they're going to take. Okay, so that I think that's a good line. Good job, opponent. And what are you? A Thoughtseize? Go to 3? Don't mind if you do. Alright, well, let's draw something with 3 power now. Or we can just kill you with that without the 3 power requirement. Beep, beep. Alright. Okay, so that was actually kind of sick. We got to do a lot of really sweet aggro stuff. We faced quite a few different decks, even if we did face the Fires of Incarnation deck twice. Or Fires of Invention. I don't know why I keep saying Fires of Incarnation. I'm combining the 2 4-drop enchantments. But anyway, pretty fun league overall, right? Like, we got to basically use almost every piece of the pie. Like, we wanted all of our sideboard cards here except for the Rending Valley and the Unlicensers. Like, those two just never actually came up in practice in this league, but we only played 5 matches, so that's a small sample size, right? But we got to see just how good some of these draws really can be. Like, a Mana Elf into a Reckless Stormseeker will just end a lot of people. The vehicles were especially great. A Seeker's Chariot is absolutely nuts. Werewolf Pack Leader drew cards a few times and was pretty threatening. Even if it dies to Fatal Push, I was still happy to see it almost all the time. But this is... honestly, this felt like the best card in the deck at all times. Like, this card is super insane. Like, I don't know that I would ever play this deck if this card just, like, doesn't exist. Performed so well, so I understand now how people win with it so much. The Hazarets were pretty good. There were multiple scenarios where we actively wanted this card, and there was one scenario in which we had, I think, 4 cards in hand and couldn't use the Hazaret, but we were winning that game pretty hard because we were still managing to attack with 4 cards in hand. The Chandra certainly had potential a couple of times to be relevant, and luckily for us, the games in which Chandra would have been relevant were games that we were already winning anyway. So even though she had the ability to be relevant, I'm glad that they were scenarios in which she ended up not having to be relevant, even though she was also not like a win more scenario. She's just a card that I ended up not having to use. Gruul Charm. This came up a couple of times, right? Like the your stuff can't block this turn actually came up quite a few times, which is pretty hilarious. I actively love that. And then Outland Liberator, you know, this card is pretty sweet. I understand that like costing 2 is a lot better than costing 3, clearly. But I almost don't know that I don't want something that enters the battlefield to kill an artifact or enchantment rather than sacrificing. So paying 3 to sacrifice and get rid of an artifact or enchantment is probably worse, even with the day-night mechanic, than playing something like, say, a Reclamation Sage or whatever equivalent might exist in Standard / Pioneer. So in the comments, let me know if Reclamation Sage is actually legal in this format. But if it is, I might want that here over the Outland Liberator. But I think this deck's going to be very, very excited to get its hands on Copperline Gorge. Like, smoothing out the mana even more than it already is, just getting rid of these extra pain lands, for example, for Copperline Gorges, that's going to end up feeling really good. Because there were a couple of scenarios in which we were thinking about racing, and getting rid of pain lands in your deck that already has like Lair of the Hydra, that has Mutavaults, that has Sekenzan. Like, you want your utility lands to actually like be utility, but you can't really like take an infinite pain while getting to that step. And I think getting rid of Carplucent Forests for Copperline Gorges is going to do this deck a lot of good. So even though the deck's already performing, it might do so even more with better mana. So I don't know, be on the lookout for that. But that's going to be my input on this deck, this Gruul Vehicle deck. Very fun times. So as always, if you like what you're watching, make sure to click like on the video, let me know, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see y'all on the next one.